Hey everyone, and welcome to another video critique. This time around we're going to be looking at your Week 4 Assignment 3 assignment. Too many assignments there. And we're going to be looking at your photo merged images. And yeah, we'll see what you got. So this time around we're going to be looking at Teresa's work, at Betty Jo's work, and at Becky's work. So without further ado, let's jump right in. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, okay, so let's start off with the panorama. Again, just like the contact sheets from last time around, these are a little bit like looking at individual puzzle pieces that have not been assembled. Although the way they're laid out here, it almost looks like they are assembled. It's kind of a weird take on it, but I kind of like. So you have that. You can see they're all pretty consistent, you know, in terms of exposure and whatnot. Let's look at how they look when we put them all together. All right, and see, now this is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. One of the big things that differentiates this from say like the panorama images that you did last time is that you know, you're gonna have these uneven edges, and you're gonna have, you know, maybe a little bit of you know, horizon that's not totally level. That's fine. That's actually, you know, again, that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So I thought that this actually turned out really well. I like you know, partly the distortion and sort of what's happening here. I like the way that this shape the tree makes is kind of echoed in the clouds, and then I like the way that the tree is really pretty dark, and then the clouds kind of have a very similar form, but they're again, they're light. They're super light, you know, white on a darker background. I do like the distortion. I like how curved that horizon is, and you kind of had to do that in order to get this to look right if you're, you know, kind of on the ground shooting with a little bit of a wider lens. So that looks great. Now I know on her other image, looks like you maybe, I'm trying to remember what she wrote in her thing. I think she was saying that she partially warped this. It also looks a little bit cropped in order to kind of even out the border. Interesting result, although I gotta say I do prefer this version. You know, it's just kind of I don't know, I like it. I like seeing the whole tree. I like seeing the negative space around the tree. So when you do, it's a little bit different. You know, it's, you can talk about filling up the frame. Obviously there's multiple frames, but yeah, no, I like this version. I think that turned out actually really pretty nice. So yeah, excellent work on that one. Go ahead. Was that Teresa? Nice job. So let's look at Betty Jo's work next. Did I? This one here? Okay, yeah. Contact. And up next we have Betty Jo's. Alright, oh, see now. They're really building up suspense that way. But again, I mean, not that to build up suspense, it's a critique and not a novel, but okay. So anyway, you kind of get the same idea here. You got the different parts of the trees. And then here we see them kind of more or less lined up. And then, again, I think that this is also really cool. Now, I would say to you, Betty Jo, that for this, I don't know, maybe I didn't mention this to you specifically last time. With something like this, you do kind of want to pick, you want to put it on manual, you know, select whatever white balance setting you're going to do. You don't want to do auto. You don't want to do any kind of, you know, aperture or shutter speed adjustment. You just pick your exposure and you do all your shots, you know, bam, 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 bam. You don't change any of your settings, and then it makes it real easy to get everything super consistent. You don't get stuff as much like this, where it's like, a couple of exposures were a little lighter there and a little darker there. You sort of just have to go with, you can kind of like do a reading, meter reading kind of here and sort of over here, or you can just pick one spot. Obviously your meter's gonna, both in your camera and your handheld meter, gonna tell you one thing here and another thing here. You just kind of basically have to ignore that. Just pretend it's not there. Pick one and just shoot away the whole thing that way. And that's kind of hard because it sort of goes against our training a little bit. Where you look at your meter, that's your exposure, and then you go with it. And you meter every time you shoot. With this, you really don't have to. And actually, it tends to work better if you don't meter every time. You just pick one, and maybe this area gets a little bit light, but you can come back in and kind of just knock it down a little bit with the, local correction. But that's, see, I think I even, surprise, surprise, I even think I even like it more as a black and white. Yeah, I would say this middle version is the best version. But I really like how this turned out. Like this sort of weird, kind of like crooked thing. I thought that looked great. It is, I keep talking about these in terms of like a jigsaw puzzle. It is a little bit like putting together a jigsaw puzzle, like, like you're sort of putting together the parts in the middle, and then you eventually connect them to the other parts. I kind of sometimes like how they look when you don't connect everything. You kind of have something like this going, but I don't know. Regardless of whether or not you buy that, whether you also like that, this is definitely successful, and I thought it turned out really pretty cool. So yeah, way to go, Betty Joe. Oh, look at me, I just rhymed. And I'm ashamed of myself because that was a very silly rhyme. Boy. And last but not least, we have Becky. Well, this made me thirsty. I'm not sure what's in this thing, if it's iced tea or what, but made me thirsty. Anyway, sorry, kind of getting off track here. So again, you have the overall here, and you have all the different angles. I gotta tell you guys, I always had fun doing this, like when I was learning, and then even just now, like as a fun kind of exercise, sort of break up how you see things or how you put something together, kind of a creative exercise. So here's the shot from above, the original, and so we have that one with the borders. Borders look pretty good, and you can see. That's funny because it makes it like even that much easier to see sort of like where the edges of the individual frames are. Pardon me. Which sometimes, looking at this version, you don't necessarily get all the way. But again, Becky, you asked, did I do this right? You did. This is pretty much exactly how you do it. And no, I don't think this is boring at all. I actually kind of want to drink that. So I might actually have to go down and have a big glass of iced tea once this critique is over, because I'm kind of getting thirsty here. But yeah, again, you did pretty much exactly how I went. It's pretty seamless. The only area I'm seeing, anything, is just like right there, and that's not even really a very big deal. So yeah, I mean sometimes with some of these I kind of like, but it's just a little bit off there. Again, sort of seeing that. A similar thing to that in some of the other images. Yeah. So ladies, nice work. I thought all three of you did a bang-up job. And now is the, part of the critique. We're going to give you that magic phrase, the phrase that, the word or phrase that you type in, and yeah. Then you get credit for doing this. So, the word this time around is zebra, as in the striped horse-like animal. Zebra. So go ahead and type that in. Sometimes I feel like I intentionally make these hard to like fit into a sentence. So I was kind of cracks me up when I see your guys' response, and it's like, I don't know how to work this into a sentence, so snorkel. yeah, just whatever it is. This time around, it's not snorkel, it is zebra. Alright guys, well until next week, when we have more of these, keep shooting and keep putting out this great work.